Hello everyone and welcome to a new video of the channel DoopTube. And today I'll be doing my Walking Dead plot predictions for season 10. But before we get started, I just want to give away a big spoiler alert. If you're not up to date with the Walking Dead show or comics, stop watching right now because I don't want to ruin anything for you. But for all here, then let's get started. The season will most likely begin after the winter, as Angela King predicted that there will be no winter episode anymore. So in season 10 the winter has been finished, the winter is done, and people are still getting over the losses of the Pike lineup. Some of them are even having some PTSD problems. Like for example Carol, who is having visions of Henry, and Sadiq, who is having a lot of PTSD problems and may even collapse eventually. Who knows? Rosita will also give birth to her son, who is already confirmed to be named Coco. A nice little cute name. Of course, Rosita will survive. I'm not really sure why she's crying in the scene, but we'll find out. Ezekiel will become the new leader of Hilltop now that the kingdom has fallen. He has to be the king of a new place, and I think that Hilltop will be that place. Now, eventually, some people are getting tired of not doing anything. And some people want to fight the Whispers. Like, for example, Daryl, Carol, and Alden. Because they all lost someone because of the Whispers. But some people don't want to fight the Whispers because they don't want to have a war. Like Michonne and Ezekiel. And because they're the leaders, it's gonna be a problem for the Whisper War to begin. However, I believe that some people will make sure that the war is starting, and those people will be also people who have lost someone because of the Pike lineup. And those are maybe Earl, Gage, Alden, the Highwayman, or this new character Brandon. These people will all probably threaten Ezekiel and Michonne to start a war. Someone may die, but eventually Michonne and Ezekiel will both realize that it is indeed time to fight the Whispers. And so the Whisper War is starting, and Aaron will be the leader of the military. Then later, a new group will arrive at the Oceanside Beach. This group includes new character Virgil, and this group will attack our people, our group, the people we know, our heroes, and the battle will begin with all these people fighting. We saw this in the trailer. I think that this is most likely happening. I don't think they're fighting the Whispers here. I think they're fighting a new group of characters, and that's the group that includes Virgil. So, during this battle, that new group will lose a lot of people, and our heroes will lose most likely Luke, because I don't see him anywhere else in the trailers than on the beach. Then, when the fight is over, the remaining survivors of Virgil's group will be taken in as prisoners into Oceanside. And then later, Oceanside will be attacked by the Whispers, and Oceanside will fall. Almost everyone of Oceanside dies. The Whispers get away. However, Cindy survives, but her her loyal friends Beatrice and Rachel will most likely die. Alexandria will become the new home of the remaining Oceansiders. These include Cindy. As I just said, Beatrice and Rachel will most likely die. And I don't think Oceanside is ever coming back after that. I think that Oceanside will be gone after that, and that Alexandria will be the new home for Oceanside. Then somewhere half through the season, Lydia and Gage will have a troubling relationship with each other because Gage is mad that he lost his two friends, Adeline and Rodney, because of Lydia. However, Gage soon realizes that Lydia lost Henry because of her mother. And so these two will first have some enemy relationship with each other, but will eventually come over the difference and may even fall in love. And this means that Gage may become the new Carl. That's right, that's my new theory. I first thought that Gage will be the Brandon of the TV show, but since it has been confirmed that Brandon will be brought to the show, which I will talk about later and have already talked about, I think that Gage will become the new Carl because someone has to fill in Carl's shoes, and I think that Gage will be a perfect choice for that. Then we'll have this weird relationship which we saw in the trailer between Michonne and Ezekiel. It won't last that long, I think. Because eventually Eugene will hear someone on the radio, and that one is Anne, and she will tell Eugene that Rick is still alive. And after Michonne hears that Rick is still alive, Michonne will break up with Ezekiel, and Ezekiel won't try to win her back. And so Michonne decides to finish the Whisper War, but after the Whisper War is done, she will leave on a boat to find Rick. Then, eventually, Negan is trusted to be let out of prison, do some work around Alexandria. We see him picking tomatoes or apples or working on the plantation of Alexandria. They're trusting him more and more, just like in the comics. And eventually, he's also allowed to join the war by Gabriel. Aaron is not okay with this, however, but eventually he'll come around. Then, new character Brandon, this guy, will lose somebody because of Aaron, and then he will get close to Negan, and then these two will make a plan to defeat both the Whispers and Aaron. And why do I think this is going to happen? Well, in the comics, Brandon hates Rick because he killed his father. However, Rick is not around anymore, and it's been really clear to me that Aaron is becoming the new Rick. And so I think that instead of having a rivalry between Brandon and Rick, we're going to have a rivalry between Brandon and Aaron. Then later, both Carol, Daryl, Michonne, Laura, and some others, I think this is Eugene, I'm not sure, will go over to the Whisper border and crush it, but will eventually soonly be caught by Alpha and the Whispers, and they have to surrender. Then Alpha is going to make an example to never let this happen again. And that example is going to be killing someone. And that someone will be Laura. Why do I think that? Well, because she is standing in the front line. And she is one of the characters we know. So the most likely kill someone off we know we've learned to come and like over the years. So Alpha will decapitate Laura to make an example out of this and never let this happen again. However, after that, the Whisperers will be attacked by the military, which are led by Ezekiel and Aaron, and then the Whisperers will flee into little groups. We got Alpha and new character Whisperer Gamma, and they will be followed by Carol, Ezekiel, and Daryl. However, this goes all pretty much wrong. Eventually they lose each other because of a huge hurt, and then Carol and Alpha face each other somewhere in the woods, and then Carol will have her scene with Alpha just like it is in the comics with Negan and Alpha, and then Carol will unexpectedly kill Alpha, but not before Ezekiel arrives and tries to stop Carol from killing Alpha, and he gets stabbed in the back by Gamma, and Jill tries to fight off Gamma, but Gamma flees. Ezekiel is finished off by Alpha, and then Carol kills Alpha. So we're losing two people here. Ezekiel and Alpha both die. Gamma gets away, and Carol and Daryl run too. Then eventually, Beta and another few Whisperers are followed by another group. Then Beta and the rest of the Whisperers are followed by the rest of the military. And the military decides to split off in little groups. And one of those groups is Aaron, Negan, Alden, Gage, Lydia, and Brandon. And here's where it all goes wrong. When this group is alone, Brandon will unexpectedly attack Aaron from the back, and then Negan will unexpectedly beat Brandon to death to get Aaron's trust. And this is to make sure to Brandon that he never was on board with his plan. They just agreed to it to get Aaron's trust. And this will be a big difference from the comics. But I think that's more likely to happen than Negan going to the Whisper Camp and get Beta's trust and Alpha's trust, but eventually killing Alpha, like in the comics. But that's not gonna happen because Negan from the TV show is very different than Negan from the comics. And so having Negan like the informer of the Whispers and trading sides all over again like in the comics is not gonna happen, I think. Then eventually the military runs and the Whispers are eventually alone. Gamma informs Beta that Alpha has died because of Carol, and so Beta decides that the Whisper War has begun. And so, what happens next? Well, the hilltop will be attacked by the Whispers and will be burned to the ground just like in the comics. Only it will go a little bit different. Instead of having everyone survive the attack on Hilltop, the Hilltop will lose some people during this attack. And those people will most likely be Kelly, Bertie, and some of Jerry's family. I think that maybe Jerry's son survives, but I think that most likely Nabila and Jerry's two daughters will both die. Hilltop will flee to Alexandria, but that will unexpectedly be attacked by walkers and whispers, just like in the comics. And then Sadiq will stand on a wall tower and get Gabriel's death from the comics. In the comics, Gabriel is standing on a wall tower and sees a giant herd of walkers. He gets scared and tries to climb off the tower, but eventually gets stuck with his foot on the ladder and is then unexpectedly stabbed and gets his stomach sliced open by Beta. After that, Beta leaves him to be devoured by walkers. And this will most likely happen to Siddiq. Why do I think that? Well, because Siddiq is kind of taking over Gabriel's storylines from the comics. Siddiq gets scared, but eventually does want to join the fight, just like Gabriel was scared, but does want to join the fight. And then their scaredness kills them. Then Alexandria will be attacked by whispers and walkers, and a lot of people survive and get out. The whispers eventually flee, but not before Negan and Beta have their big fight, just like in the comics. Carol and Gamma will also fight each other, and then Carol will kill Gamma, and both Gabriel and Barbara will die during this battle. I'm not really sure how. I think that Barbara will be devoured by walkers, just like Paula in the comics. I think that Barbara will have the Paula death. But I'm not really sure how Gabriel is gonna die. I think that he will be killed by Beta, but I'm not sure. Or he will get killed by Gamma. We'll have to wait and see here. But I have a pretty big feeling that Gabriel is gonna die in season 10. And I think that the only option for him to die is during the attack on Alexandria. Eventually the Whispers will flee from Alexandria and will leave the walkers to finish the attack. However, Alexandria is able to kill all the walkers with some help of the hilltop, and then eventually a final battle happens somewhere in the woods. Both Scott and Rosita die. Why do I think that Rosita is gonna die? Because she has a future show on Netflix coming up, and she's going to be a big part of it. And this show will be filmed in Los Angeles, and as we know, The Walking Dead is filmed in Virginia. So the distance between Los Angeles and Virginia is pretty big, and I don't think that Christine Serratos, the actress who plays Rosita, can be at Virginia and Los Angeles in a few months around the same time. So yeah, I don't think that she can do both the Netflix original and The Walking Dead, so Rosita will most likely be killed off, and that will be during this final battle. Then Beta and Aaron will have their big fight, and Aaron will then kill Beta, and the Whispers surrender, and the Whisper War has ended. After that, Alexandria and Hilltop will both be rebuilt, and will be the home for the Kingdom and Oceanside. I don't think that Kingdom and Oceanside will be back after that. Eugene will most likely take care of Rosita's baby, Coco, or of him. Then Michonne will leave on a boat and say goodbye to all her friends and family to go find Rick. Virgil joins her because he lost his family, and so he thinks that by joining Michonne on her quest, he will find his family. However, Michonne won't take her children, RJ and Judith, with her. They will most likely stay in Alexandria. Anyway, that's how I think that The Walking Dead Season 10 will go. That will most likely be the big plot of it all. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed. Tell me in the comments below what you think will happen in The Walking Dead Season 10. Like this video, subscribe to my channel, and see you guys next time.